They betrayed you, disrespected you, pushed you to react. But here's the truth. Your silence is sacred. Every time you choose not to fight, not to explain, not to beg, the universe takes note. Karma is patient, but it never forgets. Stay until the end, because the final moment reveals when everything you've held in becomes your greatest strength. We live in a world of words, a constant flow of communication, and with it, a constant flow of judgment. It is inevitable that one day, perhaps today, words will be directed at you that are not true. They may come from a place of misunderstanding, envy, or simple carelessness. Someone paints a picture of you that you do not recognize, and they show it to the world. The immediate human impulse is to grab a brush and paint over their picture, to correct it, to shout, "That is not me, here is the real me." This impulse is born from a deep need to be seen correctly, to be understood. It feels like a matter of survival for our identity. But I want you to consider a different path, a path of stillness. When someone throws a stone into a raging river, the stone is instantly lost. The turmoil of the water, the chaos of the current, it swallows the stone and no one can tell what was the river and what was the stone. But if someone throws a stone into a perfectly still, clear lake, what happens? The stone sinks directly to the bottom. Everyone can see it for what it is, a foreign object that does not belong. The water is disturbed for only a moment with small ripples, and then it returns to perfect clarity, its nature unchanged. You must strive to be the lake, not the raging river. When you react with anger, with defensiveness, with a flood of your own words, you create a storm. In that storm, the truth is lost. An observer cannot tell who is right or who is wrong. They only see a conflict, a chaotic mess of emotion. You give the unfair words power by wrestling with them. You are allowing the person who spoke them to set the stage, to choose the battlefield, and to dictate the terms of engagement. Your frantic defense can even be misinterpreted as a sign of guilt, further validating their false narrative in the eyes of others. But your silence is a refusal to enter the storm. It is a powerful statement of self-possession. This is where we must understand the nature of what we call karma. It is not a cosmic judge. It is simply cause and effect, as natural as planting a seed and watching it grow. The person who spoke the unfair words has planted a seed. The seed contains the energy of their intention, the jealousy, the anger, the ignorance. If you remain silent, you are refusing to water that seed. You are letting it remain in their garden, where it will eventually sprout according to its nature. The consequences of their words belong to them, not to you. By reacting, you are taking their seed and planting it in your own mind, watering it with your anger and frustration, and allowing it to grow and poison your own peace. Your silence protects your inner world. It is an act of profound self-preservation that allows the truth to reveal itself in the stillness that follows, just like the stone at the bottom of the clear lake. Baited anger. There are moments in life when you will encounter individuals who seem to find satisfaction in provoking others. They are not interested in discussion, in understanding, or in connection. Their goal is simply to ignite a reaction in you. They search for your weaknesses, the sensitive points in your armor, and they press on them with pointed words or subtle actions, waiting, almost hoping for an emotional explosion. They are trying to disturb your inner peace because they themselves have none. When you feel this, when you recognize that someone is intentionally trying to bait you into anger, this is a critical moment for self-mastery. The temptation to react is immense. It feels like a defense of your honor, a refusal to be disrespected. But look deeper. What is truly happening? This person is attempting to control your inner state. Because they feel powerless in their own world, they seek a sense of power by manipulating the emotions of others. If they can make you angry, they have succeeded. They have proven to themselves that they can exert influence, that they can pull your strings. When you erupt in anger, you are handing them the very victory they crave. You are essentially saying, "You are in control of my feelings. You have power over me." Your emotional outburst, which feels like an act of strength in the moment, is actually an admission of defeat. It is the surrendering of your own inner citadel. Now imagine yourself as a great mountain. The wind howls, the rain beats down, and storms rage around you. The storm is the person trying to provoke you. It can make a lot of noise. It can feel violent and overwhelming, but can the storm move the mountain? No, the mountain remains. It is rooted still and unshakable. Its power is not in fighting the storm, but in its own unwavering presence. Your silence, in the face of deliberate provocation, is you becoming the mountain. You are acknowledging the storm, you see it for what it is, a temporary and external phenomenon, but you are not allowing it to become your inner reality. You remain rooted in your own peace. This choice directly relates to the law of cause and effect. The bait they have laid out is a cause. If you take the bait, the effect is a shared fire of anger that burns both of you. It drains your energy, clouds your judgment, and creates a toxic connection between you and the other person. You become entangled in their negativity, but if you choose silence, you refuse the cause. The energy they have projected has nowhere to land. It does not enter your system, it remains with them. They are left alone with their own anger, their own need for conflict. The consequence of their action is that they must face themselves. Your silence is not passive. It is an active and powerful refusal to participate in a destructive game. You preserve your energy, your clarity, and most importantly, your freedom. Unsolicited advice. We often see a path for others more clearly than they see it for themselves. From our perspective, a friend, a family member, or a colleague is making a mistake. They are walking towards a cliff, and our every instinct screams at us to run to them, to grab their shoulder, and to turn them around. We believe we are helping. We believe our intervention is an act of love or care, and so we offer our advice, our solutions, our well-intentioned guidance, even when it has not been asked for. We lay out a perfect plan for them, explaining precisely what they are doing wrong and what they should be doing instead. And more often than not, what is the result? They become defensive. They feel judged. They pull away. The painful truth is that wisdom cannot be forced upon another person. A lesson cannot be learned on behalf of someone else. Every individual is on their own unique journey, a path that includes their own stumbles, their own falls, and their own discoveries. These experiences, even the painful ones, are their teachers. They are the necessary steps for their own growth. When we rush in with unsolicited advice, we are often disrespecting their journey. We are implicitly saying, "I know better than you. Your path is wrong and my path is right." This is not an act of support. It is an act of ego, however well disguised in the language of care. True support is not about steering their ship for them. It's about being a lighthouse, a steady, silent light they can turn to when they are lost and ready to seek direction. Think of a tightly closed flower bud. You can see the beautiful flower waiting inside, and you wish for it to open and reveal its beauty. But what happens if you try to force the petals open with your fingers? You will only bruise and tear them. You will destroy the very flower you wish to see. The flower will only open when it is ready, when the conditions are right. Your role is not to pry it open. Your role is to help create the right conditions, to be the sun and the water, not the hand that forces it. In human terms, this means offering your silent, loving, non-judgmental presence. It means creating a safe space where they feel secure enough to be vulnerable and eventually to ask for help when they are truly ready to receive it. The karma of this situation is subtle but profound. By interfering, by forcing your advice, you may inadvertently disrupt a crucial lesson the universe has laid out for them. You are stepping into their path of cause and effect and trying to alter it. But every soul must learn its own lessons. Your silence is an act of trust. It is a sacred respect for the autonomy of another human being. It communicates a powerful message. I trust you. I trust your journey. I am here for you when you need me, but I will not walk your path for you. This form of silent support is a far greater act of love than any amount of well-intentioned but unwanted words. It allows them the dignity of their own struggle and the triumph of their own discovery. Idle chatter. We are social creatures. We gather, we talk, we share stories. It is how we build bonds and create community. But within this flow of communication, there is a shadow current. Gossip. Idle chatter about those who are not present. It can seem harmless, a simple exchange of information, a way to feel included in a group. Someone starts a story about a co-worker's failure, a neighbor's strange habits, or a friend's personal struggles. The circle leans in, and the energy of the group becomes focused on the flaws and misfortunes of another. The invitation is extended to you, either explicitly with a question or implicitly with an expectant pause. The pressure to contribute, to add a detail, or even just to nod in agreement can be immense. To participate in this ritual is to do more than just speak words. You are actively engaging in the creation of a negative reality. Think of your mind as a pristine, beautiful garden. Every word you speak and every thought you entertain is a seed that you plant in this garden. When you participate in gossip, what kind of seeds are you planting? They are seeds of judgment, of negativity, of separation. You are watering your own inner world with poison. Even if you are just listening silently but with engaged interest, you are allowing those weeds to take root in your own consciousness. The brief, fleeting pleasure of feeling in the know or part of the group comes at a very high cost: the pollution of your own spirit. The choice to remain silent in the face of gossip is an act of deep integrity. It is not a judgment of the others in the group. It is simply a quiet refusal to participate in an activity that harms everyone involved: the speaker, the listener, and the person being spoken about. Your silence can be a gentle disruption of the pattern. It can be a quiet, dignified exit from the conversation, or a simple, neutral expression that offers no fuel to the fire. You are not condemning them. You are simply protecting your own space. You are tending to your own garden and refusing to plant the seeds of negativity that have been offered to you. This takes courage, as it may set you apart from the group in that moment. The law of karma here is incredibly direct. The energy you put out into the world is the energy that defines your own experience. If you constantly traffic in the currency of judgment and criticism of others, you are tuning your own being to that frequency. You will begin to see more of it in the world, and you will attract it back to yourself. You become what you speak about. By choosing silence, by refusing to engage in idle chatter, you are maintaining a higher energetic standard for yourself. You are making a conscious choice to cultivate a garden of peace, compassion, and positivity within your own mind. This silence is not empty. It is a shield that protects your inner peace and a statement of the world you wish to create, starting from within. Inner storm. There are moments when the source of destructive words is not external but internal. It is a storm of anger, betrayal, or profound hurt that brews within you. The emotional pressure builds until it feels like a physical force, a volcano demanding to erupt. In these moments, every cell in your body may scream for release, for you to unleash the torrent of words that are churning inside you. You want to lash out, to make the person who caused your pain feel the same intensity of emotion that you are feeling. To speak from this place feels not only justified but necessary. It feels like the only way to express the magnitude of your suffering. However, words born from the epicenter of an emotional storm are almost never words of truth. They are words of pain. They are not instruments of communication. They are weapons. When you speak from this state of inner chaos, you are not seeking understanding. You are seeking to wound. The words that emerge are often exaggerated, cruel, and aimed at the most vulnerable parts of another person. And once they are spoken, they cannot be taken back. They hang in the air forever, creating damage that can take years to repair, if it can be repaired at all. The temporary release you might feel is quickly replaced by a long and heavy shadow of regret. The true practice here is not to suppress the anger or pretend the hurt does not exist. The emotion is real, and it must be honored. The practice is to hold space for the storm, to choose silence not as a form of denial but as a container. Imagine you have a jar filled with water and a large amount of mud. If you shake the jar violently, the water becomes completely opaque. It is a mess of turmoil. If you try to pour from the jar in this state, all you will pour is mud. The wisdom lies in placing the jar on a table and simply waiting. You do not fight the mud. You do not deny its existence. You just allow it to be still. And with time, the mud will slowly, naturally settle at the bottom. The water will become clear again. This is the function of silence when you are in the grip of an inner storm. It is the act of setting the jar down. You are giving yourself the gift of time. Time for the initial blinding intensity of the emotion to pass. Time for the mud to settle. In this quiet space, you can begin to observe the emotion instead of being completely consumed by it. You can ask yourself, what is truly underneath this anger? What is the deeper hurt? Only when the water is clear, when you can see to the bottom of the jar, can you speak from a place of clarity and wisdom. The karma of lashing out is immediate and self-inflicted. It is the karma of creating wreckage that you yourself will have to live in. Silence is the compassionate choice for your future self. It prevents you from causing harm that you will ultimately have to carry. Ego's game. We have all found ourselves in conversations that are not truly conversations. They are battles. They might be about politics, philosophy, or even a trivial matter of opinion, but the underlying energy is not one of mutual exploration. It is a struggle for dominance. You are presenting logical points, evidence, and reasoned arguments, but the other person is not listening. They are not engaging with your ideas. They are simply waiting for you to stop talking so they can launch their next counterattack. Their goal is not to arrive at a shared truth. Their goal is to be right. When you recognize that you are no longer in a dialogue but in a contest of egos, this is a crucial time to embrace silence. The ego's primary drive is survival. It identifies with its beliefs so completely that a challenge to its beliefs is perceived as a threat to its very existence. Therefore, it cannot afford to be wrong. It will twist logic, ignore facts, and resort to personal attacks to protect its position. Trying to reason with a fully entrenched ego is like trying to reason with a hurricane. Your words, no matter how brilliant or true, are simply swept away in the storm of its own self-preservation. To continue arguing is to pour your precious energy into a black hole. You are feeding the very dynamic that is causing the frustration. You are giving the other person's ego exactly what it wants: a fight, an opponent, a confirmation of its own importance. Imagine trying to teach a fish how to climb a tree. You could spend all day explaining the principles of gripping bark and leveraging branches. The fish, however, will just keep swimming. It is not that the fish is stupid or stubborn, it is simply that you are in the wrong element. The fish's reality is water. The ego's reality is a world where being right is paramount. Your reality in that moment should be the pursuit of truth and connection. You are operating in different realms. The most intelligent and efficient action is not to shout at the fish, but to recognize that the endeavor is pointless. Silence is this recognition. It is not a sign of defeat or concession. It is a sign of wisdom. It is the conscious choice to step out of the game. The karmic consequence of engaging in the ego's game is the depletion of your own life force. The frustration, the anger, and the mental energy you expend are a significant cost with no return. You walk away feeling drained, agitated, and no closer to understanding. The other person's ego is simply reinforced, ready for its next battle. By choosing silence, you conserve your vital energy for conversations that matter, for connections that nourish, and for pursuits that bring you peace. You let the other person continue their own journey with their ego, a path that will inevitably bring them into conflict after conflict until they learn the lesson for themselves. Your silence allows you to walk away, not in defeat, but in peace, preserving the one thing you have absolute control over, your own inner state, true power. This is the final, and perhaps the most difficult situation in which silence is your greatest ally. It is the moment when someone has hurt you deeply. They have betrayed your trust, caused you significant pain, or wronged you in a way that feels unforgivable. And then, a moment arrives where you have the power to retaliate. You have the opportunity to expose them, to hurt them in return, to serve what you believe is justice. The desire for revenge can be an all-consuming fire. It feels righteous. It feels like a way to balance the scales, to take back the power that was stolen from you, to speak out, to act, to bring them down, feels like the only way to heal. But this is the ultimate illusion. The act of revenge, while promising satisfaction, is a prison. It does not free you from your pain. It binds you to the person who caused it. To seek revenge, you must keep the wound fresh. You must constantly replay the injustice in your mind, stoking the fires of anger and hatred. You are chaining yourself to the past and allowing the person who hurt you to continue to occupy your mind and heart rent-free. The pursuit of revenge means you are still allowing them to dictate your emotional state. You believe you are taking power, but in reality, you are giving the last of your freedom away. The ultimate act of power, the true path to freedom, is to choose silence, to choose to let it go. This is not about condoning what they did. It is not about forgetting the pain. It is about making a conscious decision that you will no longer carry it. Imagine you are holding a burning piece of coal. Your intention is to throw it at the person who hurt you. But as long as you are holding it, planning your throw, you are the one being burned. Forgiveness and the profound silence that accompanies it is the act of dropping the coal. You do it not for them. You do it for you, to stop the burning, to heal your own hand. This is the highest form of self-love. This is where the law of karma operates in its purest form. The action they took, the harm they caused, has already set in motion a chain of cause and effect. The universe or reality itself has its own balancing mechanism. It is not your job to be the instrument of their karma. Your job is to attend to your own. By choosing silence over revenge, you are stepping out of the vicious cycle of suffering. You are refusing to create new negative karma for yourself by becoming a source of pain for another. You are liberating yourself from the story. The power you sought to reclaim was never truly lost. It was just obscured by the pain. It is the power to choose your response. And by choosing the silent path of release, you reclaim everything. You find a peace that revenge could never offer. The world constantly demands your reaction. It is loud, chaotic, and it pulls at you from every direction, begging for your energy, your opinion, your anger. We are taught that strength is about making the loudest noise, having the last word, and fighting every battle. But true mastery is found in the opposite direction. It is found not in what you project outward, but in the unshakable peace you cultivate within. In the quiet refusal to be pulled into storms that are not yours. In the stillness, you discover that silence is not empty. It is full. It is full of awareness, of strength, and of a profound, unbreakable power that comes from within. I've spent 40 years of my life as a reactor. Everything you described, from pointless, ego-driven arguments to the burning desire for revenge after a deep betrayal, has been my reality. I thought my loud reactions meant I was strong. After watching this, I realized I was just a puppet, and my own anger was pulling the strings. This week, I let go of a 10-year grudge I was holding. I didn't say a word to the person. I just dropped the hot coal. For the first time, I feel light. I feel free. Thank you doesn't seem like enough. You've given me back my own life.